Hey, what's going on, guys? Richie Fix here, back with another video, and here we go. We've got the second figure from Storm Collectibles Subdivision 6-inch line Storm Arena, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Ryu. Now, one thing you'll notice immediately on the box is that this one says Street Fighter 03. From my research, that just means it's the Japan version. Now, as far as the figure, accessories, everything like that, from what I've seen, nothing has changed. It's just literally the branding of the Japan branding. I did buy this not from Big Bad Toy Store. I did actually get this one off eBay. I also got this one off eBay, but this one actually says Alpha 3. So, just something to note. You might get Alpha, you might get 0. Just know that there's nothing actually physically different with the figure or the accessories, anything like that. It's just the different branding. So, it really will be depending on the vendor that you get it from. If you get it from Big Bad Toy Store, you're definitely for sure going to get the Alpha version. But yeah, again, there should be no differences, so it shouldn't matter either way. I'm very impressed with Ken. I would say a majority of the community is very impressed with Ken. There's some things here that I want to address at the end as far as the Storm Arena line, but taking a look at the packaging, very consistent with his counterpart in Ken. You got the big Ryu picture right here. You get the logoing and the branding right here. You got Ryu, you got a little stamina bar, you get Storm Arena up top, you get Storm Arena again on the left, Capcom on the right. We'll take it to the side here, and you do also for bookshelf collectors. Here you go, nice little branding here on the side, looks good. The back, I would say, is definitely an improvement. I think a lot of people actually like the backing of Storm Arena compared to Storm Collectibles, where it's more of a little collage thing instead of all the separate photos from like their photo shoots on there. We got basically the figure from the photo shoot, but with the background cut out and kind of put into this nice little collage thing. And then you do get some different imaging from Alpha 3 up here on the right, the branding again, and then Storm Collectibles down here. Again, 17 plus. I think they just mean it's more of, you know, collectible than like a true, like, meant for kids figure. So, granted, very nice, looks good. It always comes down to the figure, doesn't it? Is he going to live up to the hype? I feel like he is, but we'll make our own conclusion. Let's go. All right, guys, getting Ryu outside of the package, and again, oh my god, this thing is phenomenal. I love the sculpts of the Storm Arena so far. It is their main thing that I absolutely love about the figures, along with many other things, but I would say the standout is absolutely their sculpts. For the amount that these things should be going for, is just insane. Like, you just really take a look. Give it a little 360. I like the little wave, like that it's kind of got sculpted into it. Obviously, it doesn't hang just straight down. I mean, it's got a little curve to it. The gi looks great. The sculpting, the shading, everything is very, very nice. The chest, again, with that soft little rubber piece there to really help you make sure you can get into the Hadouken and everything like that. The hair is nicely painted. We gotta acknowledge the hair. Just nicely painted. You get that brown. I don't think Jada's is truly like a brown. It's more like it's black with a little bit of a brown wash in it, but this is like a true brown. Very, very cool. I'm liking everything about it, even down to the pants, and it's not really like a white. It almost seems like it does have a bit of a black wash on it, because it's not like a true white. The head, like, it looks like it's a little bit dirty. You can definitely, and that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, obviously, no one, when they go straight into battle, just has this clean gi every time, but it's definitely got like a, not quite an off-white, but definitely, like, you can see that there's some wash in there, at least in my opinion. You'll have to let me know when you get yours, but, yeah, looks absolutely phenomenal. Let's start with the articulation. So, head, gonna go up about that far. Pretty good in my opinion. Go all the way down. Got that head all the way down like that. Man, that's just such a cool pose. Even looking like that just looks really, really good. As far as the head tilt, I mean, you get some crazy tilt with these things. Very, very nice. Looks very good there. As far as the arms, I'm going all the way up here. All the way up. So a nice T there. As far as the swivel, you get a nice swivel at the arm here. Little bicep swivel. As far as the joints, come out very smooth. And when I mean smooth, there is no like peg system. Where Jada's, you can tell there's almost like little like plastic snotches in there that it clicks into each time. Not with the Storm. It's just a smooth function. So very, very cool. You can see how deep that gets. And then as mentioned before, the hands are actually of a rubber texture like their original Storm collectibles. Now, for those that have watched the Ken, if you haven't watched the Ken review, I am not a fan of the GUI system. As you can see, I'll take this part off, and this is about as far as I'm going to go for you guys. You can see this little peg. Now, it's definitely a case by case. I've had people tell me it's super hard to take on and off. I've had people say I was the issue. I say, just buyer beware. You may or may not struggle with taking the GUI on and off. I did take the GUI off in Ken's. To my knowledge, they do use the same body buck. And it looks the exact same. Obviously, one is Ryu. I don't take the GUIs off. So if you want to see it with the GUI off, I would say just go watch Ken's, just because I had such a trouble getting the GUI back on that I don't want to experience that again. So if you guys want to see it, there are countless reviews out there. I'm sorry, you can dislike it just for that one thing if you want. I just don't want to do it. It literally took me like 20 minutes, and it might have just been a one-off for me, but I'm not doing it again. So, and I don't even use them with the GUIs off anyway. So, I mean, if that's a thing for you, great. But it's not going to be for me, so I'm not even going to worry about it this time around. But as far as the butterfly system, we can definitely see what we can get with the GUI on. And it goes pretty far forward. So, you can see you can really get those shoulders forward. You can get a little bit of a look on the back. If you noticed in Ken's, there weren't really some deep slits here. So you can't really go too far back. But it's not to say it's because of the GUI. It's because the cut on the back is not that deep. And then as far as the headband itself, it does move. It does have a ball peg system, so you can move it to look like it's flowing in the wind. And you can take it out, but I'd rather not, just because I don't want that peg to get super loose and where the hole from going in and out just gets bigger and bigger every time. So I don't want to mess with that too much. As far as the legs, feels good, nice and stiff out of the package too. So I've been worried. You've seen some things with Storm, at least I have with their collectibles line, where some of the joints have been loose outside of the box. But yeah, this thing not at all. You get the full splits there. You are going to, and there are some drop down. You can see that. So drop down there. You can just push that back up there. Push that back up there. And then as far as the leg, it does get a thigh swivel. And then as far as the double jointed knees, we're going to go like that. Looks very, very good. Goes all the way up, nice and smooth. Like I said, no notches, no nothing. Just a smooth, fluid motion. And then as far as going forward, we're going to really crank that up. So bring it in just a little bit, but so you can see that. So can we push that any higher? A little bit higher. Okay. Can go up like that, bring it down, push that drop down hinge back up, and then as far as the feet, very nicely detailed. Now the only thing, did they take out the pegs? Okay, so you will notice there is a small little peg in the feet there. These are great, man, super stiff on the toe articulation, very nice there. It does get a great pivot on the feet, and then as far as how far this thing can go up, goes up about that far. As far as down, we get a great range on the downwards. But that is everything as far as articulation and sculpt that you need to see with this Ryu. It's done almost perfect, in my opinion. Like I said, you can tell me your experience when you get yours with the on and off with the GUI. I really love to know, like, if you watch this and get your own, I want you to come back to either my Ken or Ryu and let me know your experience with taking the GUI on and off. Let me know if I'm an idiot and I need to be trained in that, or if you had your own struggles. But other than that, let's take a look at his accessories. Taking a look at the first accessory here, you get his alternate head. Now, I actually like this one a lot better than Ken's, where Ken's was more of like a smirk, not so much like an action face. We do get a gridded head sculpt here, and that's what I'd like to see Storm Arena do moving forward. Like, I do get that, you know, Ken is known to be sarcastic, kind of arrogant, cocky, whatever, so he's going to have that smirk on, but it's like, I do want an actual battle face where, whether it's screaming, whether it's the gritted teeth like that, and I do feel like this is a good representation of that. Now, it does also, it came with the headband pre-attached, which you do just go ahead and peg that in. I don't know why they didn't leave it attached in and then just like put a hole in the back of the plastic, but you do just go ahead and plug in, and then you can move it like that. So very, very nice. The sculpt is very, very nice, as you can see. Great on the eyes, the teeth, everything. The nice brown paint. Again, for the price it should be going for, is very, very nice and very impressive. And, yeah, you can kind of get lost in it, to be honest. Next one's being the Hadouken hands. Now, it is safe to say that this time around I did get both a right and left hand, where last time I did get duplicate hands, which was unfortunate. I did not mention that. In the Ken video, unfortunately, they did send me two of the same hand. And buying from a third party, I'm never going to be able to get that hand until I get another Ken. But nice to know that this time it's not a running issue. I did get two of each hand, so something to be excited about.
Nice.
And then with this Ryu, you are actually going to get a Hadouken effect. That does come with 3 separate pegs you can see there. So if you want it higher, lower, however you want, it does just go into the stand. That also comes, that holds the figure. So you're going to have to choose. You're either going to have to use it for a Hadouken, or you're going to have to use it to hold the actual figure. So they don't give you 2 separate circles. You just kind of have to choose. Again, with their little V system that they have here, you just put them in there and you can have them hold it. I like the stands. Mess Toys still wins stand of the year for me, but it's cool that they include this for the actual figure as well. And then again, coming back to the Hadouken, I do like this one, but I think I like Jada's for their Ryu a little bit better. Just the shape, and that it had the hands coming at you and everything like that. It's not to say that this one's not nice, but if we're actually picking and I had to choose one, definitely think I like this, the Jada one, a little bit better. But as far as the stand, it's cool that they give you both. And then it does just have the hole very similar to Jada's, where you just go ahead, plug it in there. Now, I'm having a hard time getting it all the way to sit flush. That's about where I can get it. So I'll have to see if there are other pegs that fit it a little bit better. But just so you're aware of that. And it sits nice, and not a bad effect piece at all. Moving on to the comparisons, and here he is standing side by side next to his counterpart in Ken, the first figure from the Storm Arena line. And I have to say, man, these things look so damn good. And I'm telling you right now, you need to get these sooner than later. And we're going to talk about a little bit of the situation with Storm Arena here at the end. But my God, these figures look absolutely insane, and I don't know what else there really is to say about it. Here he is standing side by side next to the Jadatoys, first figure they ever did in Ryu, and they both look really good. Like, I can appreciate the different things of the two companies. I do like the overall sculpt better with Storm Arena, but I do think I like the tan Ryu a little bit better. Like, the tan really stands out in this particular side by side. Not to say that I don't like the pale Ryu. I know that's the style choice that they went with in the Alpha series, but I do like Ryu to have a little bit of a tan. So that's more just a personal preference, obviously. You can like either version, both versions. But you can definitely see the differences. The gloves are a little bit redder. But granted, they are from the 2 separate games. The right being the Street Fighter Ultra, the left being the Street Fighter Alpha 3. You let me know what style choice you like better. Now, if I had to choose a version of the game, I think I'd like Street Fighter Ultra 2 Ryu as a whole. Now, not to say, as far as the two figures, which one do I think look better? 100% Storm Arenas. Like, the sculpt is insane on that. It'd be very interesting because, as you know, or you may or may not know, Storm Collectibles as a company does have the rights to the Street Fighter Ultra 2 property, but it is in their taller scale. Very curious to see if they announce something absolutely insane, like they are going to start making those in the Storm Arena line comes Comic-Con. I am very curious to see what the hell Storm is going to announce, because they've been dropping so much information. It means they've got to have a bombshell for San Diego Comic-Con, right? That is if they even go, but side by side, these figures look great. Someone did ask me if you could interchange the head from the Jadatoys one to the Storm Arena, and it's just not possible. If you can notice on the left, it's a little bit of an eye trick, but believe it or not, the one on the left does have the bigger ball peg, and unfortunately, the Ryu heads cannot be switched. It wouldn't even match anyway, skin tone-wise, but for those asking, no, you cannot interchange the heads from the two companies. Here he is standing next to Jadatoys' currently biggest figure that they offer in Sagat. And man, with the right shadowing with these figures, you can have so much fun mixing and interchanging the two lines. I know there's a big debate on who's better, what line should you collect. There's room for both, and just seeing the Sagat standing right next to this Ryu should prove that. I mean, look at the shadowing on both figures. They both look great. Just different styles, different strokes for different folks. Obviously, I think Storm Arena has ultimately the better sculpts, but there's no reason why you couldn't mix these two. Look at them. Moving on to the next side-by-side comparison, we got jadatoys BLANKA, another one of the biggest figures that they offer. The sizing, the scaling is perfect. You can interchange both lines, and you can collect both lines. I mean, these both look insane to me just standing there. It really is a perfect time to be a collector for Street Fighter. No question about it. One of the last comparisons I'm going to do is the side-by-side standing next to the brand new Mess Toy Symbiote Spider-Man. Both figures have turned out phenomenal, and both are candidates for Figure of the Years, in my opinion. Look at them. Last but not least, you have to obviously put it next to its standard Storm Collectibles sizing in SAGAT. And, well, as you can see, there's a bit of a size difference there. And SAGAT, obviously, you can portray him however you want. I don't think that this is necessary. I mean, obviously, he's a monster compared to Ryu. But in certain stances and poses, you could definitely make this work. It looks crazy standing next to each other, but trust me, in the right photography, lighting, and positioning, you could make this work still. I lied. There is one more figure I wanted to show off because I never actually did a review on it. This is the Beast Kingdom Batman Who Laughs, standing right next to the Ryu. Obviously the scaling, I don't know how tall the Batman Who Laughs character sizing is actually supposed to be. I do think this is a little bit out of scale, but two crazy there have been so many good things coming out this year. Granted, I don't think this Beast Kingdom figure came out this year. I think it came out like 1 or 2 years ago, but still wanted to show this thing off next to him because this is a crazy figure too. Had to get it in there. That is going to be my review on the Ryu Storm Arena second figure for the Street Fighter Alpha 3 line, and another home run. We're 2 for 2 on the actual figures itself. It's everything that you wanted and you get in the Ken, but just in a Ryu form. The sculpting is phenomenal. The articulation's all there. Everything looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm not a big fan of the peg system that Jada and Storm uses for their bandanas and the waving. Granted, I just wish they were a little bit more, like, maybe a little bit of a bigger ball peg so it sticks in there better. I do feel like they tend to fall out a little bit easily. At least with this figure, I had noticed on the alternate head that it doesn't peg in as well as I'd like. That is such a small gripe. I mean, that's nothing. I don't even know if we can count that. That's more preference than anything. And obviously the GI system, I wish they'd work on that just a little bit. Granted, it might be fine for you, but I do think that Jada has the perfect system for that. So if there's any way they can integrate that into their own, I think that would be better. But again, those are such small things. On a 1 to 10, this is a 9.7, 9.8. I don't think that there's ever a truly 10 out of 10 figure out there, but if there was, this could definitely be in consideration for it. And this is definitely, it's going to be so hard to pick a top 10 figure of the year. This will definitely be in there, but to be in the top 5 figures of the year is going to be so hard for me. There have been so many knockouts this year, but I do want to talk about Storm Arena as a company and what's going on here, because I think a lot of people are seeing everything and it looks great. Like, the Storm Arena figures are 100% awesome. There is no question about it. Do I think they look better and are probably better than the jadatoys? Yes. But as far as Storm Arena and Storm Collectibles as a company, not good so far. And granted, the tariffs and everything have a lot to do with that so far, so I am going to give them a bit of a break. But as far as right now, and nobody really talks about this, you cannot get these for $35, $30 right now like you can the jadatoys. You can't. The only way people are getting these, if you think I got this from Big Bad Toy Store, you can hold your, you can definitely be rest assured that I did not. It just didn't happen. I had to buy this on eBay. You have to buy from AliExpress because they do ship directly from Hong Kong where these release first. And you probably aren't going to get your Big Bad Toy Store pre-orders satisfied until probably September. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if it was October. And that's just Ken. I don't know when Ryu's going to come. He might come this year. Guys, if you are wanting these figures, you're going to have to spend the money to get them. And I hate to say what the cost was for this guy, but let's throw it out there. $76 with everything. That's shipping, cost, everything. And that's not fun. That's not fun to pay that, but I do that so you guys can get these reviews relatively quick. I know I'm not the first one out there, but I should be, one of the first ones out there as far as this figure. And you got to spend the money to get these figures. And granted, that's double, if not a little bit more than double, than what these figures are supposed to cost. Now, that is one of the major cons, is that, it's not that Storm Arena's it's its own fault. There's been tariffs and things in there, but the accessibility to these figures, because they have an exclusivity contract as of right now that I'm aware of with Big Bad Toy Store. I have nothing else that, you know, no other evidence to say that they don't. Granted, these will show up at comic book shops and things like that. You are not getting this figure for $30, $35 right now. There's just no way. There's no way you're getting this figure for under $45, to be honest. Granted, I would think if they show up at San Diego Comic-Con, you could probably get, that's probably your best bet in getting the best price. But right now, Storm is struggling in getting production and the product actually out to the Americas. These are available if you want to get them on eBay, want to get them on AliExpress, plan on spending $60 to $70. Maybe you can get it lower than that now. But for mine, I spent $70. And that sucks because these were supposed to be a direct, you know, side-by-side comparison in being one and the same in pricing, size, and everything else with Jada. And right now, you are not getting these figures at the Jada price. I feel like you can get on Amazon and get the Jada stuff. You can get on different outlets. You can find them in stores with Jada. And unfortunately, Storm just doesn't have that luxury. But nobody really talks about that. And I wanted to mention that when you see the prices on Storm's site and it says if you wait it out when everybody has already, you know, spent the big bucks and got theirs, you'll eventually, if you can have the patience, you can get the price of it being in the 30s. And I think after tax, and that's if you go through Big Bad Toy Store, you're probably spending 40 something on these. So it's just something nobody's really talked about. And, you know, you probably won't see your order satisfying Big Bad Toy Store until probably fall time, somewhere in there. And I hate to say that, but that's what it is. Unless you spend the big bucks and go to Ollie or eBay, you're just not getting it before then. Unless they do show up at Wonderfest or San Diego Comic-Con, which I'm sure they will be, and you can get them there. But I wanted to make that a note because no one seems to talk about it, and everybody acts like, oh, we're right there with you. You're not right now because the accessibility is not there. Not yet. So I wanted to bring that up because I feel like everybody sees these, but no one ever addresses the price in which they paid for them. And unless you have a hookup or something like that, you're not getting this figure for under 50 bucks. At least I don't think so. But hey, someone had to say it. I said it, and there it is. Other than that, the figure's a home run. Like I said, the closest thing to a 10 out of 10 Street Fighter figure you can get. And, well, I think you'll be happy once you get it. But whether that's now, you spend the big bucks, or later, it's going to be up to you. You let me know in the comments below what you think about that whole situation. But other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this review. These ones tend to be a little bit longer, but I want to get all my thoughts out. And you let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Richie Figs. We got San Diego Comic-Con right around the corner. I'm excited. Later.